All right, Geo, nice to have you here.
Nice to be here, man.
Yeah.
Nice to be here in Sweden, Gothenburg.
Yeah, so this is gonna be a kind of different video than what I do on this channel, right? So normally on this channel I have like tutorials and all of that stuff, but the thing is that I'm working on this free MMA course, and you've actually flown down from London, being here, and we've spent from Friday through Monday today actually recording this module called Performance 10X. So in this video today, I am going to do like an interview with you, because I know that a lot of entrepreneurs and social media marketing agency owners out there are very interested in what type of work you do. And just to I have some super simple questions here prepared as well.
Yeah.
And basically we started working together 70 days ago.
Yeah, around that.
Yeah, around 70 days ago. And back then when we started working together, I basically looked like this, as you can see on this image. And in just 70 days, I'm now looking like this, right? And the physical appearance of what I look like right now, it's just one portion of what we've done.
Yeah.
And I've transformed in many other ways as well that have helped me to, I'm feeling lighter, stronger, healthier. I'm lifting more in the gym.
Yeah.
I'm making more money in my business as well. I'm having less stress and a ton of different benefits from all of this work that we've done.
Yeah.
But without further ado, let me just leave over the word to you, Geo, and just simply quick, tell people about who you are and what it is that you're doing, and what is it that you and I have actually been working on for the past 70 days in short terms, and then we can dig into it in more detail.
Yeah, so essentially what I do and the way I like to break it down is that I help entrepreneurs improve their productivity, focus, and energy levels by optimizing the quality of their sleep, gut health, training, and nutrition. So that's really the way I like to summarize it. And essentially, I reached out to Max on Instagram back whenever it was, 70 days ago or so. And then we started working together, and we've worked through a lot. We've done a lot of work in the different areas that I mentioned, in his sleep, in his gut health, which is a thing that I like to focus on as a point of not only physical health but mental health. And for entrepreneurs, it's something that is neglected, I think we can say, or just a lot of people don't know about it. But there are incredible sort of implications that improve the quality of your mental focus, the quality of the work you do in your business as a byproduct, as you mentioned, is an advantage. And as you said, the physical sort of transformation, if you will, of the 70 days or so that we've been working together is just, I like to look at it as a byproduct. It's not the main focus, but it's definitely a cool addition that you get from sort of optimizing your health as a whole. And obviously it is a part of that.
Yeah. So when you start working with an entrepreneur though, what is because when we started working together, you're taking things step by step in a sense, but what is the main goal, would you say, when you start working with an entrepreneur? Because I assume it's you have to kind of custom tailor it to each and every single individual that you start working with, right? But what's the main goal?
Yeah, of course. So I mean, naturally, with everything, with every kind of training, people have different there are different issues that they want to solve. People have different goals, but systematically, if you want to look at it systematically, it's relatively similar, because you're looking at the same foundational points that make up most of your health. So what I mean by that is, the first thing I always do is I get my clients to do a gut health test. Now, this is crucial because
that's cool. That was one of the main things why I wanted to work with you. That was very interesting to actually do the gut health testing.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry to cut you off.
No, man, absolutely. Feel free. But the gut health testing is one of the first things, because in today's day and age, especially, our diets are, what's the word I want to use? Restrictive, I want to say. And as a result, we eat a lot of bad foods and a lot of crap, essentially. And so our diets, unless you really put effort into it, can be good for the physical sense, in terms of the way you look and the way you feel in the gym, but the way you feel mentally in regards to your gut health is not always the main focal point, because gut health isn't as sexy, if you will, as looking shredded in the gym. So a lot of entrepreneurs even know about calorie deficits, calorie surplus, how they want to get lean or whatnot. But in terms of optimizing your nutrition for your gut health, it's not a very sexy topic. So that's the primary or one of the primary foundational places where we begin. So as you'll remember, I had you do a gut health test. The results took some time, so usually they don't take that much, but then we start to tailor the nutrition based on that. So you'll get, essentially, from every gut health test, or most at least, you'll get a list of foods to avoid and a list of foods to sort of increase the consumption of. And as a result, we tailor the nutrition, in relation to that, if you will. And then you also have other aspects. So one thing that we found with you, which I hope you don't mind sharing on here, is that we found some actual pathogen in your gut that was causing some disturbance. And as a result, even though Max may not have been aware of it in the past, it was causing some problems, mentally, where he couldn't perform at his absolute best. And maybe that's one little thing. And overall, Max's gut was pretty healthy compared to the average person. But there are people, like myself included, who previously had very unhealthy guts, and that was causing dramatic problems in their health. And that's the same thing with entrepreneurs, especially when you're so focused in your business. As I mentioned earlier, you don't really think about, how is the food that I'm eating affecting my gut microbiome? Like it's not even a thought process.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing, which is kind of the gut health, and we kind of got that out of the way. But the next thing is sleep. And as we've mentioned, and as we show in your course, in the Performance 10X module, at the end of the third, I think it is, or fourth video, which is the exercise video, we talk about the pyramid of health. And this is something I like to talk about a lot, which is essentially that the way I see it is sleep is the foundation of everything you do in your health. So it goes sleep and then diet and exercise. So exercise is almost the cherry on top, if you will, whereby if your sleep is bad and you're not sleeping well, it doesn't really matter what else you do.
Yeah. And another thing as well, right? Like, because when I started working with you, I was not necessarily looking to improve my health, right? I was super busy running my agency, and you basically reached out to me as a performance coach and wanted to talk more about how we could optimize things and sleep and so forth. And back then I thought that I kind of had that, I had heard about it, right? I had an Aura ring already. I had some tracking sheets. I've always been interested in, trying to optimize my life and so forth. But you were doing your sales and prospecting very well, and we jumped on a call, and I decided to give you a shot because I was just super impressed with everything you do, and you have the gut health test and so forth. But as an entrepreneur, the main thing that I wanted to optimize was the results in my business, right? And because I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize when they talk to a performance coach, because it's not only about optimizing your health. That's kind of what we focus on, but the ripple effect of doing that is that you get more energy. I get my shit together, as I like to call it. You've helped me tremendously to get my shit together. Yeah. So.
And just to add on that point, that's exactly right. The goal here, yes, is to sort of optimize health, but as an entrepreneur, you may not care about that in a vacuum. And be like, okay, optimizing health, why do I care? But the ripple effect of that, the byproduct, as I like to say, is the fact that you'll have more focus, you'll have more mental clarity, more creativity, you'll be happier on a day-to-day basis. So running and scaling your business on a day-to-day basis will be a more exciting, more fulfilling thing for you to do. And then also, by optimizing your sleep and various other aspects, you feel more energized. So your output increases. And so in theory, that should also increase the quality and the scale of your business as well.
Yeah, and then a super big thing that you've helped me as well is just to kind of overview what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, and also helping me to put in routines in a sense, right? You have a morning routine, you have a night routine, and also overlooking things that I spend time on. For example, a huge thing that we can actually dive into a little bit more right now, because you talked about the gut health testing and so forth. But one big thing when we started to optimize my diet was that we noticed that actually preparing my meals and so forth took a lot of time. So that's something we can speak about as well. Optimizing your diet is one thing, but then also you actually helped me to save time by finding a meal prep service and helping me with that whole aspect, just doing everything for me essentially to get the best food and get it delivered and saving a ton of time, which has been a huge time saver as well.
Yeah, 100%. So the way we had done it, which I think is cool to explain for them, it might be interesting, is initially while we were waiting for the gut health test results to come back in, which took a couple weeks, we essentially had Max on a healthy diet, a relatively healthy diet by any stretch of the imagination, but he was eating relatively the same things every single day. Yeah. And it was kind of like a placeholder while we got the results from the gut health test. We knew it was a healthy diet. He had his protein in, healthy fats, all the, nutritional aspects of a healthy diet were there. And we were just waiting for the gut health test to see the variety and see what kind of specific foods we should be avoiding and increasing. And once we did that, we got the results back. And naturally, when you have more variety of foods, we essentially I restructured Max's nutrition plan to have to accord with the with the gut health test. So we included different types of proteins, different types of vegetables. We took away some ingredients from his typical diet. And as a result, like in business, right? It wasn't a streamlined process anymore. You weren't buying the same ingredients, cooking them the same way, and eating them the same way, which is far more streamlined and efficient than having a wide variety of different things that you have to buy and you have to take care of. So then at that point, and I think it was a bit of a clicking moment, I felt it, where from your nutrition, it felt like everything was sorted. We found a meal prep company. We essentially outsourced all of Max's meals, and all he has to do is add in some extra add-ons that he buys at the store once a week, once every 2 weeks. And it cuts down it gives him an extra 2-3 hours per day, really, if you think about it. No cleaning up, no cooking. There's, it just extremely streamlined process that was a big clicking moment for you. And it's a very good way, and I recommend a lot of entrepreneurs to go out there and invest in a high quality meal prep service. Please, don't get the cheapest one you find. Get a good quality one where it seems like a really good run business. The ingredients are good. There's a high variety of ingredients, and it will pay off in the long term because you will have so much more time and you will feel so much better.
How much money do you think like a social media marketing agency owner or an entrepreneur should make per month, let's say, before they consider to maybe hire a performance coach or start to use a meal prep service, let's say? Do you think it's because in my opinion, maybe like a 10K per month, it would be like, who knows? As soon as you make like 20, 30K per month, I feel like might be a good range. Or how do you feel is like a good type of range when you should like invest in a performance coach and meal prep service and all of that?
So interesting thing, you said two things. You said meal prep service and you said performance coach.
Yeah.
So I think it's different. I think with meal prep service, if you want to, DIY, do it yourself, I think you should start investing in meal prep service as soon as you hit, you're getting close to 6 figures. You're getting close to 10K per month.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place because you essentially outsource all of your nutrition. You don't need to think about anything else, and it will keep you in check because you have the meals in the fridge, so you may as well eat them rather than going out and eating junk and spending more money, outside than you would by simply just eating your food that is healthy for you. So I would say meal prep service around 10K per month. I think you can get away with it. Again, it also depends on where you're living in the world and the cost of living in those areas. So I think 10K per month for a meal prep service, and then for a performance coach, as you say, around 20K, 20, 30K in the multi 6 figures, in the lower end of the multi 6 figures, then is a really good start, a really good time to start looking for a performance coach. Because just as you outsource anything in your business, your health as an entrepreneur is part of you as a person, and therefore part of you as a business owner. And so outsourcing that, just like you would at any other sort of role in your business, is an incredibly important way to streamline your activities and to make you a sharper, more focused entrepreneur on a mission, man. That's really what it is.
What do you think is if you're gonna boil it down to, because what you're working on essentially when you start working with me at least, it's like sleep, diet, and exercise. We did the gut health test, we fixed the meal plan, we also fixed my sleep. We haven't talked too much about that, but my sleep score went from high 70s to now low 90s in only 70 days. It's a huge difference. You helped me with wind down routine and all of that stuff as well. And then also the exercises, changing on my workout plan and stuff like that as well. But if we kind of boil this down and, you implement these things, you start to work with the client and so forth. What do you think are the top 1 to 3 things, the top benefits for an entrepreneur, when they actually start working with you? What are the top 3 benefits that they experience? I can talk what I have, right? But
So most bang for your buck, essentially. Most bang for your buck. The first place, sleep. The first place you're going to look towards is sleep. And there's many, many reasons for this, but let me break it down very simply. You're going to feel better. But also studies have shown that when you sleep better and you're actually, sufficiently slept, you make better decisions in terms of your food. So there's cool studies diving into that, which I'm not going to get into now. So that's something if you're interested to dive into. But your nutrition as a byproduct improves by sleeping better. You make more responsible decisions there. And then you will also feel more energized, and therefore you'll be able to then go work out if that's something that you're looking to do, which is why sleep for me is the foundational aspect. And there's also something I like to say, that there's not a single function in the entire body that isn't negatively affected when you are underslept. So that's a cool thing to take away, I think. So sleep is number 1, and I think tracking sleep is the most important, the most important thing.
Yeah, actually tracking it. Not 2 times per week, but actually every day. Yeah.
Every single day, and Making a tracking sheet. That's what we use for you. I've got a tracking sheet where we track all of your metrics, and it keeps you accountable. It really keeps you accountable, and you see that as soon as you start putting in the protocols, which I'm going to sort of dive into now, the main takeaway points into sort of improving your sleep. You see your sleep scores increasing on a daily basis, and it essentially turns it into a game, which is, I don't know, if you're competitive, which a lot of you are going to be, since a lot of you watching this are going to be entrepreneurs, you're going to be naturally competitive. You're going to also want to win that game, the game of sleep. So that's the number one thing. The next thing is gut health and nutrition. So again, it goes back to the pyramid, right? The sleep, diet, and exercise. But I break down diet into two main sort of points, which is diet for essentially physical looks and physical performance, and diet for gut health, which was, as a byproduct, going to impact your brain and mind. So gut health test is number 2. So sleep tracking and sleep improvement, number 1. Gut health test, number 2. Then it's getting in shape. And I think getting in shape, because it's a byproduct of what we've done, it wasn't really the primary focus. We gave you a workout plan. We saw, okay, you enjoy this, you don't enjoy this, and we tailored it that way. But it's an important sort of fundamental step to have to start. So if you start, tracking your sleep and taking care of that, you take a gut health test, find which food you should eat and which food you shouldn't eat, and, sort of structure your diet accordingly, and then start training and start getting in shape. Those are the 3 super easy things that you can do. It's just it's just about investing a little bit of money into the gut health testing and a little bit of money into sleep tracking, but it will pay incredible dividends in the future.
Yeah. So, and I get that, right?
Yeah.
And I've experienced it. So I've seen kind of how that have impacted my own life. But I think a lot of people watching as well, I think when they hear, okay, my sleep, diet, and exercise, it's not the sexiest topics, right?
No.
But the ripple effect of what happens when you get when you get those things in order, when you get the basics in order, when you get your shit together, as I like to call it, right?
Yeah.
Like the ripple effect from doing that. If you're just thinking about the entrepreneur watching this, who just want to win in this business, make more money essentially, right? How can that girl or that guy watching this, if they start to optimize themselves and take care of themselves better, what happens in their business essentially? Yeah. And I can speak for myself, but I think it's more like, what have you seen?
So it will vary from person to person, but the main things that you will get is, as we've spoken before, better focus. I think at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, you're chasing that, right? When you're doing your deep work blocks, you want to be able to focus better. You want to lose yourself in the work, essentially. And doing that and increasing your output is one of the main byproducts you're going to get as a result of dialing in your sleep, diet, and exercise, or your health in general. So you're going to be able to focus better, and you're going to be able to work more effectively, not necessarily longer hours, although you will be able to do that as well if that's what you choose to do. But you'll be able to increase your output in the time that you currently work. So let's say, hypothetically, using random numbers, if you work 10 hours and in those 10 hours you get 100 points of productivity, by optimizing your health, you'll be at 150, 200 points of productivity. Obviously, those are just arbitrary terms, but just to show you that you'll be able to achieve far more than the person who isn't. The next thing I find that is a big one is day-to-day happiness.
Yeah.
It may not seem like a big one, but on those days where you wake up and you don't really feel like working, and because you're an agency owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're the only one keeping yourself accountable, right?
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so much easier to respect yourself and get to work, especially for you entrepreneurs there who are trying to start your agency. Man, those are the days where consistency is crucial for survival and for growth. It's those days where you're going to wake up and you're not going to feel like doing it, but because you have your health protocols in place, because you've done them, because you've sort of built that self-respect with yourself of, I treat my body a certain way, you're going to treat your business a certain way as well. And so you're going to feel far more capable of crushing the day, even on days where you don't feel like it. So I think that's another one. And so it was happiness, and then energy levels is a big one, man. Working is tiring. As you guys all know, as Max knows, as I know, working is tiring. A long day of work is exhausting. And when you know you are recovered the next day, when you know you have the protocols in place and you are tracking it and seeing the numbers to show that you are recovered, you are performing at your best, you know that, okay, maybe I had a long day. Maybe it wasn't, maybe it wasn't the best day. You know that if you sleep and you wake up in the morning, you get your metrics and you see them, you're like, damn, I had a good night's sleep. I'm ready to crush it. I think that the mental benefits are endless. And I can just keep talking about it for hours and hours and hours.
Because on my receiving end, like one of the absolute biggest thing is the accountability thing, right? Yeah. When we started working together, like every single morning since we started working together, I've had Geo like checking in with me every single day. And you've helped me to put in all of the metrics in our tracking sheet. It actually gets done, right? And we have our checkup calls once per week where we're constantly checking like the different metrics and the KPIs that we're tracking, and we're making new plans and new improvements every single week. So it helps a lot to have somebody on your team essentially, right? You're basically on my team optimizing my health for me. Yeah. And we're getting new plans every single week and so on and so forth, right? So I agree with all of those benefits, like 100%. But like one of the absolute biggest thing that I've experienced is like by getting my shit together and like removing the habits that drained a lot of energy. I was just doing pretty much a bunch of random stuff that wasn't really in line with my goal and what I was trying to do. And you helped me to kind of get that stuff in line, build more energy, become better, put more energy back of that goal. And then also a huge thing was to get my time to think essentially. Like actually spending time thinking about what it is I want to do. That has been huge. Just over the past 70 days, I've made some huge changes in my like business trajectory, like where I'm going and so forth. So
can I add on that? Just to add on Max's point there. Max, when we started working together, was, I think we can say, relatively healthy. You had good sleep, not amazing on a daily basis, but you had good sleep. You had some decent night of sleep in the for you Aura nerds who have Aura rings, in the high 70s. Or a
Whoop band for that matter.
Yeah, as well. Or a Whoop band for that matter. Yeah. But we started tracking with an Aura ring, and you were in the high 70s, which for most people is very good. And there's a lot of people who can't get above 65. So Max went from good to great. Imagine if you go from poor to good. That increase is going to be tremendous. Dare I say life-changing. I really, really believe that. And that's something I really stand by, because you were able to reap so many benefits, even just from going from already pretty good to very good / great, going from, I don't know, minus 100 to 0 or 50 or 100. Yeah. The benefits are going to be incredible. So I really, really recommend, just to add on that point, that you don't take this for granted. It's a very important thing.
And on that note as well, you actually have like a very interesting like personal story as well of how you kind of got into this. Yeah. And I think that's something that's very interesting to share with people as well. So if you don't mind, maybe that would be a cool thing to share as well.
Of course. Yeah, I'm an open book. So essentially the way it went down and why I ended up going down the rabbit hole of gut health and potentially these obscure things that a lot of people would maybe call biohacking, I'm not sure, was because I had pretty poor health a while ago. And essentially it stemmed from my gut health primarily, which brought me down this rabbit hole, as I said. And it really started off when I've been into the gym for a very, very long time. And I've always been in shape, primarily for my training sort of life, if you will. I've been going to the gym consistently, eating what I thought were the right foods. I was lean. I was like a lean 12% body fat at the end of like a good solid cut. But there was like a weird thing where if I wasn't tensing my abs, I had a belly and like I looked fat and I was like, what? Like, I was like, what is going on? Like, I thought I'm doing the right stuff and I see all these people on the beach who look shredded and they just look good. And I'm looking at myself and I'm like, yeah, I can do that when I tense. But if I don't tense, I've got a bit of a belly. It looks like I drink a lot of beer. And so that was like the first thing. And that kind of stuck for a while. And then it compounded into pretty bad anxiety. And that was a big one for me because it was crippling at times. Days where you just can't get anything done because your mind is playing games on you essentially. And you go down a very dark place. And after doing some digging, I came across gut health, and you find that actually, the gut and the brain are linked along the gut-brain axis. And if you have a lot of gut inflammation, which is pretty common in this day and age, in this modern society, which you would think it shouldn't be, but it is, it can lead to a thing called dysbiosis, and dysbiosis can lead to brain fogginess, so where you feel like kind of tired, you feel like you're walking through a swamp. It feels really, really weird. and you can't focus is a big one. But then in more serious cases, which is what I had anxiety, and then for an even more extreme case, I personally didn't suffer from this, but it can occur, is depression. And that all stems from your gut. And fixing your gut health directly can fix those problems. And it did for me. As soon as I started taking care of my gut health, eating probiotic foods, more prebiotic foods as well, cutting out intolerances, my anxiety pretty much dissipated in, I don't remember what it was now, but in a very short period of time. And I started to feel way more energetic. I got rid of my brain fogginess, which was life-changing for me, because there was a point where it was really scary. Like, I was like, what is going on? I'm not remembering daily events. I would just go through the day and it was like the day never happened. Just because of the extreme brain fog. And then once I got that sorted, it was a huge thing, and it was life-changing for me. So I started going down that rabbit hole, and here we are.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people can relate to that, like not having enough energy, feeling like people not feel like mental health issues as well is huge. Yeah. It is huge. And I have family members and friends who have been suffering from it a lot. And it's like an epidemic in today's world right now, where like people are not feeling energized and like they're feeling sad almost. Yeah. So
that's just to build on that. That's I think the energy one is the biggest one.
Yeah.
So people may not be able to relate to the anxiety, to maybe even the bloating or whatever it may be, but the anxiety one, the energy one is a really big one, because you see so many people, young people, and they're like, oh, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm always tired. It's like, why is everyone tired? And I think it really stems to these main things. Are the younger generations of today, a lot of us are sleep deprived, don't look after our health, don't know what gut health is, don't know the implications of it, how you can improve it. And that directly leads to energy and poor energy levels. So it's super important to mention that.
But then we also, in this day and age, we have a lot of energy traps, as I like to call them, right? You can, we have entertainment who's eating up your energy. Like you have your phone, you have social media, you have all of these different things. You have the drugs, and you have the overindulgence in all of the pleasures of life as well. There's so many things that you can do that is basically eating up your energy. And if you start to control those things that you helped me with as well, and then you start to improve your sleep, your diet, and your exercise, you feel like you're actually you're getting more energy, that it kind of builds up, and you need to kind of put that energy somewhere, right? So you can attack the gym harder, or you can put more energy into your business and it's actually fun, or whatever it might be, right? It's huge. All right. And this is one of the reasons as well why we wanted to implement a performance 10x model inside of the free SMMA course as well. Not only help people to start and launch a business, but actually help them to get those things in order as well that you've talked about, so that they can actually have the energy to run the business.
It's a crucial aspect. And as you mentioned, when you asked me to do the performance 10x module, or to help you with the performance 10x module in your free SMMA course, man, I couldn't say no. So I had to say yes. And we broke it down into 3 sort of major blocks, which is what we spoke about before, looking at sleep, diet, and exercise. And we broke those down into 1 video each. So I tried, by designing the videos and by giving the information to all of you guys, it's available to everyone. No sign up. You just go on the website and it's there. What I tried to do with the information is try to make it as actionable and as condensed as possible. So in the length of 1 video, you can take away as much as you can and implement it into your own daily life. And as you sort of, really pushed on, was having action items at the end. Yeah. So people can take that information and apply it and see actual benefits from that, straight away. So
and you're not holding anything back in this course neither, right? Like you're basically giving away everything. And how much does it cost?
Zero.
Yeah, it's free.
It's completely free.
Yeah.
The course is completely free. And again, as I said, not holding back anything, trying to make it as actionable as I physically could for you guys. And as well, I mean, on my own social platforms, at Geo on everything, I share even more information. Yeah. Everything I shared in the course is the real foundational stuff that you need to implement, and you will implement. And if you do, you will see great benefits. Yeah. But yeah, again, not holding anything back. I give everything away for free. I think that's the biggest thing.
So if people want to learn more about what you do, they can check out the free SMMA course, obviously. Yeah. Where can they find you else? Do you have a website, socials, or what do they search for on find more about you?
So I have my website, geojoachim.com, where you can just sign up to my newsletter. Again, totally free. You'll get my sleep mastery blueprint. It's just a PDF form that you can take away and act on it straight away and improve your sleep that very night. And it's a weekly newsletter with, every single week, a new email, value-packed email with action items at the end of each one to improve a different aspect of your health. But also I have my Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, where I go over various topics. Twitter obviously is written form, and then YouTube and Instagram and TikTok as well is more video form style content. But again, looking at different aspects of your health within gut health, sleep, training, nutrition, some other bonus stuff in there as well to really enhance your performance as an entrepreneur. And that's what the content is tailored towards. So definitely go ahead and follow me on there for more style, more variety of content.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Nice to have you here, man.
Yeah. Man, pleasure.
Yeah.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah.